Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another watch list. Basically, think of this as a monthly TV guide for me to let you know what and when TV shows that I'm interested in, that maybe you're interested in, are coming out. Like always, in the description down below, I'll include links to any trailers that might be available to anything that I talk about during this month's watch list. On August 6th on Netflix, we have a new series called Hit and Run. In this series, a man's wife is killed in a hit and run, and he's trying to get justice and, track down the person responsible. But it's not as simple as that when he kind of learns that there might be more going on to it, that it might not have been like a random hit and run, that this might be kind of associated with some secrets that, his wife is holding, that maybe there was a lot more to her that he wasn't aware of. So it seems kind of like this interesting crime drama thriller. On August 9th on FX on Hulu, we have this new series called Reservation Dogs. It seems like we're following like kind of like a misfit group of punks who like steal and also kind of do a little bit of petty crime, but it also seems like it's this interesting like coming of age story. Just from what we saw with the trailer, it seemed interesting, it seemed funny. It's also by Taika Waititi, which is interesting. Like, that dude is constantly working on stuff. On August 10th on the CW, we have season 2 of DC Stargirl, which I'm very excited about. Obviously, picking up after the events of season 1, spoilers, the ISA have been dealt with. The rest of the new JSA, Justice Society of America, isn't too worried. They're like, oh, Courtney, you're kind of crazy being so on edge, right? But like, Courtney's the only one that's like, right, there's still danger around every corner. So it comes back to that more so, choosing, like, trying to balance between being a normal high school teenager and being a hero, while there is, threats on the horizon. But we also get some new faces and new heroes. One in particular is we meet our new Green Lantern, so that's really interesting. So I'm really excited to see everything that goes down. On August 11th on Disney Plus, we have Marvel Studios' What If, which I'm very excited about. This being a animated series that basically asks the question, what if? It's basically telling like this anthology series of just kind of what if, like, what if instead of Star-Lord becoming Star-Lord, instead of it being Peter Quill who becomes Star-Lord, that instead it's T'Challa? Or what if Killmonger ended up saving Tony before he ended up becoming Iron Man? Like, it's an interesting, obviously a long-running, like, interesting series of comic books, but also now being animated to be what if specifically of the MCU. So very, very excited to see what happens, especially what the implications of what if could mean going further down the road for Marvel, the MCU as a whole. Also on August 11th, we also have Riverdale season 5 returning, which I'm excited about, but I will be honest with you, I don't remember 100% of where we were. It's been a long time. It's been quite a few months since the last episode of Riverdale. I want to say we're still dealing with the aftermath of everything with Hiram trying to kill Riverdale. There's everything that Jughead is looking into related to like the Mothman and like the disappearances. Then there's the whole like Betty like looking into that serial killer who is related to Polly's disappearance, wondering whether or not Polly's still alive. So those are some general things. I don't remember specifically what happened last, but we'll probably get a recap before the next episode. So on August 12th on HBO Max, we have season 3 of Titans, which I'm very excited about. Obviously a big thing this season is that we are doing the Red Hood storyline, which I've talked about in previous videos. I am not well versed in the storyline. I know a little bit here and there about the Red Hood stuff, but not much. But obviously the Titans are in Gotham. We see, we get our introduction to Barbara in this universe, as well as, well, not our introduction, she's already been established in this universe, but this is our first time meeting her in the show, as well as Scarecrow making her appearances. So I'm very excited to see all that goes down in the full scope of this season and what's next for the Titans in their journey. On August 15th on Starz, we have a new series called Heels. Now, Heels is this wrestling series that basically, it seems like, based on what I saw from the trailer, it seems like basically this small town where these two brothers have kind of been a team at like doing this whole wrestling thing, and they're using wrestling as a means to kind of make a name for themselves, to kind of get out of their, I think, their small town. But eventually this whole wrestling game, the money, the recognition and everything kind of pits these brothers against each other, and that's kind of like, it seems like the story. Just from what I saw of the trailer was fairly short, as trailers, I might think most people would prefer trailers to be, but it seemed really interesting for what I saw. I have never seen the show Glow, but I'd assume Heels and Glow, there's a little overlap in just like, kind of like, you know, kind of a similar feel. Once again, I am saying that from someone who hasn't seen Glow. I've heard nothing but good things, but, you know, just I'm not the biggest wrestling fan, but it just, you know, both series have seemed interesting to me, and I've decided, well, you know, since I know a tiny bit about wrestling, why don't I take this opportunity? 'Cause I think even if you're not the biggest wrestling fan, I think, you know, even though it centers around wrestling, I think there's enough that even non-wrestling fans like myself could probably find something to really enjoy about the show. I think the same thing applies to Glow as well, but, you know, we'll see. On August 18th on Hulu, we have a new series called 9 Perfect Strangers. It seems that basically the premise is that these 9 strangers are gathered at this wellness retreat to kind of deal with their respective situations, as it kind of gets brought up in the trailer that each of their background or whatever situations that they're trying to deal with or escape are kind of complementing each other. Now, what that necessarily means, we don't know, but it seems weird and just kind of almost cult-like in a sense of just some of the stuff that they're kind of going through, but it seems like, oh, this is the type of stuff that can make or break people in a sense. It just seems interesting and a little weird. It's from like people who are connected to Big Little Lies and The Undoing, so it's a pretty stacked star-studded cast, so it seems pretty interesting. Very interested to kind of see what it kind of all is in totality. On August 19th on the CW, we have the 3rd season of Coroner, which I'm excited to check out. Obviously, this is the US premiere. Obviously, the 3rd season already came out in Canada, much like the 1st and 2nd season by the time they started airing in the US. Nevertheless, I'm curious what cases Jenny's going to work on. Obviously, she did a lot of healing last season, or at least certain things kind of what should I say, like, there was resolution in a lot of her past and a lot of her trauma that I don't think she's going to be dealing with that this season, but maybe there's something deeper, something else that's kind of being thrown away. It's going to be interesting to see what Jenny's story ends up being this season. On August 22nd on AMC, we have the 11th and final season of The Walking Dead premiering, specifically, obviously, because the way they break up their seasons, this is going to be the first half of the season, which, if I'm not mistaken, in totality, the season is going to be 22 episodes. Going to be the longest season, not including 10, because 10 had the bonus episodes added on as well, but I'm excited to see how things play out. Obviously, based on the trailer, there are threats on many different fronts. Obviously, everything kind of back home they're dealing with, but obviously, like, where Eugene and Ezekiel and them, what they're dealing with. So there's a lot of moving pieces, and obviously this being the end, you never know how this is all going to play out. It's not the end of the universe, but at least this series and this show being what it is, there's no guarantee, like, everyone's going, oh, not everyone's definitely going to make it out of it. Some people you've grown attached to might not make it. So it's going to be interesting to see where a lot of this takes us, a lot of the stories, a lot of the connections. I'm excited to see the part 1 of, you know, the ending of all of this. Also, on August 22nd on Epix, we have this new series called Chapelwaite, which the trailer just came out at, like, today at the time of me recording this, so it wasn't something that was even on my radar, but it's a series with Adrian Brody, interestingly enough, and it seems to be this interesting horror series where after his wife dies, he kind of leaves and moves to, I think there was something like he has to claim something for somebody, so he's moving to a different place, Chapelwaite, and it's kind of this like horror period piece to a certain extent, but the moment he comes there, it seems like things in this place are weird, like there's almost like some kind of evil there. So it's hard to say like whether it's just like full-blown something supernatural or whether it's just him being crazy, because stuff early on in the trailer shows like him seeing stuff that isn't there, and it looks bloody and creepy and downright scary. But just from when I saw the trailer, it seemed really interesting, so I'm excited to check it out. What it was saying in the trailer is it's based on a short story from Stephen King, so that's pretty interesting. On August 24th, we have the return of the 6th and final season of Supergirl on the CW. I want to say this is episode 9 we're returning with. I think there is a trailer that came out kind of talking about this back half of the season. I haven't watched it. I kind of want to go in a little blind, but obviously where things left off, it was spoilers, we're escaping the the Phantom Zone, and Kara's new fifth dimensional frenemy tagged along, so that's going to be shenanigans and chaos in its own right. But I'm sure there's also that whole element of wrapping everything up with Lex as well, so I'm sure those are going to be two major things going forward, just to be interesting, and to see where all these stories wrap up, but in particular where Kara's story is going to take her at the end of the series. And finally, on August 25th on FXX, we have the 12th season premiere of Archer, which I'm very excited about, but it also comes obviously with a little bittersweetness to it, because everything with Jessica Walters, and it's sad to know, like, I haven't read up on anything, but I'm assuming I don't know how much was done before she passed, whether all of this was done or some of it was done, but it's still going to be nice to just hear her as Mallory like a couple more times. I think that's still nice, but I'm still excited to see what this season has in store for us. To my recollection, I don't remember everything that went down last season. I do remember last season being on a shorter end. The past couple seasons kind of have been. I believe last season was only 8 episodes, and if I remember correctly, Archer was kind of chewing everyone out, because obviously a lot has happened since him waking up from his coma and everything, and everyone's kind of moved on without him, and he's got to readjust to the new way things have been handled without him around, but also he's kind of made people backpedal in certain regards. It's all an interesting thing that I'm excited to see where the 12th season takes us. At the time of me recording this, there is no trailer out, so I don't even have really a rough idea of what the story of this season is going to be about. But like I said, the Jessica Walter thing, makes this whole situation bittersweet, because like she will always be cemented in my, like, Archer's the show I kind of best know her from, so her as Mallory will always be cemented in my mind. That's really all I wanted to bring up during this month's watch list. If there's anything that's coming out, like always, that maybe you're aware of that I wasn't aware of, that you think maybe me or someone else would be interested in, don't be afraid to leave it in the comments down below. But really, that's all I'm going to talk about. So next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and good